This episode is brought to you by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro near you at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.
Up next, we have Brandon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hey, Brandon, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
For sure. Thanks for calling in. How can we help?
Well, I've run into a bit of a speed bump here as far as my wife. We did the baby steps. We were in over $200,000 in debt, knocked that out in a few years. And now it's time to put money away, 15% of my income into, mutual funds. And she's just wanting to park it in a high-yield savings account. And because she says she's scared to lose it. So I'm just kind of curious the best way to go about. I mean, I've sat her down. I've said, hey, this over the long term, this is going to run its course. We're going to, become millionaires. And it doesn't seem to stick. So I've kind of run into a rut where we're just putting money into a high yield savings account, and 4% is good, but it's not 12.
Right. It sounds like two things, or one of two things. A, something happened in the past, and she or someone she knows lost money in the stock market, meaning they took money out when it was at its lowest point. Or
her dad, yeah.
Her dad.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's where it is.
So that's where it's originating from. And then that lack of knowledge is continuing till today. So first off, I think what she's not understanding is that when her dad pulled that money out, he locked in his losses when he pulled the money out. But had he have left it in, he would probably have tons.
Yeah. What's the story with the dad? What happened?
Well, I don't know the full story because it's a pretty sore subject. Other than the fact that he had money in there, he pulled it out. I don't know how long it was in there or anything like that, but he's constantly telling her, "Oh, you can lose a lot of money in that market."
Is he still living?
I'm just like,
is he still living?
Yeah. He's
okay,
still,
so he's still
he's a big influence on her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So somebody needs to play out the scenario. I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. If this were my husband, I'd say, well, okay, we know what happened when he pulled the money out. He lost a bunch. Has anybody ever played out what would have happened if he didn't pull the money out? And then I'd look at that scenario because I think that'd be eye-opening to say, hey, here's the thing. If that money had never come out today, here's what it would be worth. And that kind of shows the truth of how the stock market works. So I think this is a really delicate situation because, like you said, it's touchy because money was, quote, lost. But it's hard to say, hey, the mistake was on you. Mm-hmm. You're the one who pulled it out, right? But even though that's kind of the truth, you've got to be...
Look in the mirror.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think validating her because, that is scary. If a family member like that, your own parents went through something, it's like, I want to avoid what they went through because it was always obviously very painful, not fun. I don't want to do that. So that makes sense that she's, has that level of fear. But what can happen, Brandon, is... fear can paralyze us, and fear can make us do make really bad financial decisions. We would quote this all the time, especially during COVID, and someone said it, and now I cannot remember who it was, but they said we make our worst financial decisions when we're fearful and drunk. Or maybe both. Maybe both. No, it was like some guy. I don't know who it was. It was like, but we would quote on there.
Drunk.
Yeah, they would always say, if you're fearful or drunk, you make really bad money decisions.
Describe COVID.
So yeah, we kept telling people. Yeah. So again, it makes sense that she's fearful, but also we can't let fear dictate and make our decisions because it's an emotion that's not trustworthy. It is there to create safety for us, right? There's fear and our body reacts to it. And it's like, I'm on guard and why? And sometimes the threat is real, right? I mean, if you see a bear and you're like, that's scary. Like that's a very real, right? Your body's response is correct. Right. So run or whatever you're supposed to do when you see a bear, lie dead or whatever you're supposed to do. I don't even know. But, the fear here, while I understand it, it's not based in reality. It's based in someone's situation, but that's not the reality out there. And so I think that's what she has to really overcome. So maybe, Brandon, even you guys, we always say a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Maybe you bump it up, maybe 6, 7, 8 months just to give some extra buffer in that high yield. Just to know if something happens, we are going to be okay. Like we have an emergency fund for the emergency fund kind of idea, right? So she may just need some extra security. And then And then you guys just keep, I mean, my hope was that you guys do start investing, because I think you're exactly right. From a math standpoint, you want that compound interest as early as possible. And then you guys just keep reevaluating, and don't look she doesn't need to look every day at the market, because it's going to dip and the news is going to freak out. And then she's going to be like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Right. So don't look at it. But like once a year, you guys need to reevaluate and just say, okay, what did this year look like? But it does take, I guess in her case, kind of that leap of faith. It's not really a leap of faith, because I think there's a lot of facts around it, but it does take a level of trusting the system and
being willing to learn something new outside of a previous experience. That's the hard part.
It's a great point. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know if that helps Brandon, but yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it's a hard one, because again, I think her fear is valid, but yet just because it's valid doesn't mean that we make decisions around it.
That's right.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. Need help with your investments? Connect with a SmartVestor Pro at ramseysolutions.com/smartvestor or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at ramseysolutions.com/smartvestor.